Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at expat life in the Philippines.
Oh,
Specifically, advice for men who are maybe thinking about moving there. Our source material is a YouTube video. It's called 10 Things Men Should Never Do in the Philippines. And it's from a channel called The Philippines Truth.
interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too. Get ready, because this is going to be,
Yeah, this is going to be a wild one.
yeah. Right off the bat, the very first piece of advice is never believe her.
Oh, wow.
I know. The video claims Filipino women are like habitual liars,
Hmm.
especially about things like their age, their relationship status, and finances. They even suggest checking a woman's body for signs of childbirth
Oh, my goodness.
to see if she has kids. I mean, is that even legal?
I don't know if it's legal. I do know that it's incredibly dehumanizing and it's
Yeah.
relying very heavily on stereotypes
Yeah,
about Filipino women. To paint an entire nationality of women with that brush,
right.
it's just not fair and it's not accurate.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some bad actors out there,
Of course.
but that doesn't mean everybody is.
Right, exactly. It's about individuals, not these sweeping generalizations.
Okay, so red flags are already waving. The next piece of advice is never disclose your finances.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the video argues that revealing financial details, like even telling someone what your job is
Mhm.
or where you live,
Hmm.
makes men targets for scams. Do they have a point?
I mean, being careful about your finances, especially when you're new to a place, that's always good advice.
Right.
But assuming that any question about your work or where you live is some ploy to size you up financially,
Right.
that's just reading too much into things.
Right.
I mean, in a lot of cultures, asking those sorts of questions is just normal getting to know you stuff.
Right. It's like, hey, what do you do?
Right, exactly.
So it's more about understanding cultural differences and
Yeah.
how people communicate
Definitely.
than assuming everyone's trying to scam you.
Right. I think that's a much healthier approach.
Okay, so advice number 3, don't fall in love with the first girl you see.
Okay.
The video warns against falling for women who are eager to meet you at the airport
Mm.
or introduce you to their family
Mm-hmm.
or just generally seem really enthusiastic. It's basically painting a picture of like warm Filipino hospitality as a trap.
Yeah, this is where those power dynamics and cultural differences can really come into play.
Right.
Like, yes, there is a potential for exploitation,
Right.
especially when you have big age gaps
Yeah.
or people coming from very different backgrounds and cultures.
Yeah.
But assuming every woman is just trying to, lock you down,
Right.
that's just so cynical. And it completely misses out on the beautiful part of Filipino culture, which is their warmth and hospitality.
Right. And it would make me so nervous to be there
Yeah,
because then I'm like constantly looking for, what's the angle?
exactly. You're always on guard
Yeah.
instead of just being open to connecting with people.
Yeah. Okay. Advice number 4. Don't give someone money. Okay. I mean, this one on the surface seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's some nuance here.
Well, the video's argument is that even giving money for like small expenses
Okay.
creates this dependency and encourages gold digging.
Mm,
And again, while financial exploitation is a real thing,
right.
especially when you're new to a place, labeling every request for help as a scam, that just shuts down the possibility of genuine need.
Right. So how do you balance that, right?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's about communicating clearly.
Yeah.
Like if you feel uncomfortable with the request, it's okay to say no,
Right.
but don't assume every interaction is some sort of test.
Okay. So advice number 5 is all about protecting your documents. Don't allow access to your passport.
I mean, that's just good advice anywhere you go,
Yeah,
right?
that's common sense.
Yeah, safeguarding your passport, your important documents, crucial.
Yeah.
The video goes a little further, though, and suggests that the police might even be involved in scams. Which, while it's good to be aware of potential risks, we also don't want to just make blanket statements and generalizations about entire systems or groups of people.
Right. So just be cautious,
Yes,
but don't be paranoid.
exactly. Being vigilant doesn't equal being suspicious of everyone.
Okay, next up, don't chase them. So the video's advice here is to play it cool
Uh-huh.
and not pursue women who show little interest.
Hmm.
And they emphasize that you are the prize.
Oh, okay.
So is there some truth to this, or is this just ego boosting?
I mean, Respecting someone's disinterest is absolutely crucial
Really?
in any relationship. But that whole framing of you are the prize,
Yeah.
that just reinforces this transactional view of relationships
Right.
where one party holds all the power.
Yeah, so instead of thinking about winning someone over,
Yeah.
think about actually connecting
Yes,
and respecting each other, right?
exactly. Seeing the other person as an equal, not a conquest.
This next one's interesting. Don't tie down to any situation. So the advice here is to explore different areas, experience different parts of the Philippines before settling down.
Mhm.
Seems like good advice, right?
On the surface, yes. Taking time to explore your options when you move somewhere new.
Yeah.
That's always wise.
Yeah, but what's the motivation behind this advice?
Well, the video suggests that areas with a lot of expats
Oh, yeah.
are bad for dating because it's
Absolutely.
harder to meet attractive or normal women.
Oh, so exploring the Philippines is good, but getting too close to Filipino culture is bad.
Yeah, that's the message, unfortunately.
So instead of viewing the country as this like dating playground,
Right.
focus on connecting.
Yes.
Right.
Authentically connecting with people and appreciating the culture for what it is.
Okay. Let's move on to advice number 8. Don't be soft.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is where things start to get a little
Content.
intense is one word for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they urge men to like assert themselves,
Uh-huh.
stand up for what they believe in,
They
and
can-
avoid displaying emotion or weakness. They even say like don't smile at security guards
Oh, wow.
because it shows weakness.
That's interesting because in Filipino culture, a smile is often a sign of respect.
Right. So what's considered weak in one culture could
Yeah.
be like totally normal or even polite in another.
Exactly. Cultural context matters.
Okay, get ready for this one because this is going to be a doozy. Don't date single mothers.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, the video advises against it, citing things like baggage,
Okay.
financial burdens, and a lack of prioritization.
Right.
This is just blatant judgment.
Yeah.
And it completely ignores the individual circumstances
Right.
and, frankly, the resilience of single mothers.
Yeah.
To just categorize a whole group of people as unsuitable partners
Right.
simply because of their family structure is so narrow-minded.
Right. So much for open-mindedness and compassion, right? Okay, the last piece of advice on this list. Don't be afraid to say no, which, again, seems like pretty sound advice.
Yeah, setting healthy boundaries is important.
No matter where you are, no matter who you're dealing with.
But it's a context.
Yes, the context is everything.
Right.
He's framing this as a defense strategy against potential exploitation, which just feeds into that us versus them mentality that we've been talking about.
So how can someone protect themselves without constantly assuming that everyone is out to get them?
That's the challenge, right? It's about finding that balance between being cautious and being open
Right.
to new experiences and new relationships.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, and it's clear that this video presents a very specific and, at times, pretty concerning viewpoint.
Yes, definitely.
What stands out to you the most from what we've discussed so far?
I think it's that underlying current of fear and distrust that really permeates this whole video. And while, yes, being aware of potential challenges is important,
Right.
approaching life in a new culture with that level of suspicion
Yeah.
is incredibly isolating, and it could actually prevent you from having positive experiences.
So it's about finding that balance.
Yes, exactly. Between being cautious and being open. We'll explore that more in part 2.